Good morning and welcome back to the Weedy garden. It's a beautiful morning here. It's been raining for about a week. I've been wanting to do this episode for about a week or so, but every morning I wake up and it's raining. I'm just going to have a bite to eat. I'm a bit starving, so I'm just going to start to eat. Before I tell you what's going on, a bit of a special episode this time. I'm going to see if I can make one episode in one day. Good morning, girls. Okay, time for breakfast. Good morning. I'm going to see if I can make one episode in one day. So I'm going to finish my brekkie, going to wash up, and I'm going to do a bunch of things around the garden today. Actually, it's a bit of a special time at this moment. I've got this little experiment going just to get really connected up here. Because at the moment, I'm actually living up in the garden to try and see what it's like to eat my own weight in food from the garden. So I'm not going to leave the garden until I've eaten my own weight in food, which is about 95 kilos. When I started, I've lost a few kilos probably, so we're probably down to about 90 now. So I'm just going to stay up here and eat my own weight in food. I've got some olive oil and a bit of salt and pepper. I want to see what it's like, see if I can get really connected. My mind and my body and my soul. I know I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of soil and the sun and the system. I'm a photographer actually, and I started the Weedy garden about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago. I always had a dream to make my own garden where I could just walk around and eat my own food. I'm going to try and make it as exciting as I can, so you can get as many tips from what I've learned about how to grow wonderful, colourful, natural, clean, organic food. So, we're going to look around the garden. I'll just eat my breakfast. Oh no, it's going to rain again. Oh, well, at least we've got breakfast over and done with, eh? Doesn't matter about the rain. We might get a bit wet today. I might get a bit wet today. So you've heard of cow manure and you've heard of horse manure, and then we've got chicken manure, and then you've got dog poo. This one here, this is called human manure, and it's actually really good for the garden. Well, everything that's come out of the garden has gone through me and it's going to go back in the garden again. So I've got a lot of biochar and a lot of sawdust in this. and I've got some lactobacillus bacteria as well. So I'm just going to put this in my compost or my compashi. I'm going to make a new one. So this one's going to be my main ingredient. Just some scraps from the garden here. I've just been collecting kitchen scraps as well while I've been eating up here. And I'm going to harvest all my comfrey as well. Get a good mix of greens and browns. I'll put a bit of charcoal on that too. A bit of crusher dust. A couple of handfuls of old compost. This is old compost to get that bacteria going. Half a litre of lactobacillus bacteria and half a litre of molasses mixed with 8 litres of water. They can live in an anaerobic and an aerobic environment. Okay, just wet this down a bit and then we'll cover it up with plastic. So I make one of these about once a month. That'll sit there and heat up now. I'll come back and turn that in 2 days, and I'll turn it every second day for about 21 days. And then it should end up being like ye beautiful soil. Like that. Alright. Next job. So, time to feed the worms. And this rain's probably going to set in all day long, although it does look nice over there. I can see some sunshine on its way. But my worms are doing great. I call this place Wormville. Beautiful. You got on this side I got just my castings. See? Castings. Worm castings. Beautiful. And on this side I'm feeding them. Oh, look at all those worms. See? Come back, you see them there, crawling around. Very happy. Trying to feed them some new stuff. So I've got a rotting tomato here that the bugs have got into. And I've got a zucchini plant that just didn't make it. And then I put a bit of brown on, which is just dried grass, which has been laying out in the rain, so it's a bit damp, which is nice. Some comfrey. I'll just break it up a little bit so they can get to it. And I put a bit more brown in between there, a bit more comfrey, and a bit more brown. See, by just putting it on top like that, if it does get hot because of the compost reaction, it doesn't matter because the worms won't go up into it if it's too hot for them. They'll just stay where they are. That's good. I might just give that a little bit of biochar. Gonna get wet again. I'm gonna do this quick and then I'll go in and do something else inside, I think. Good. Little worms, there you go. There's breakfast, dinner, lunch for you for the next week or so. That, and then we put this down. I wanted to show you these beautiful butternut pumpkins and how I got them growing, because you might notice that a lot of the times you look at your pumpkin plant and the little pumpkin or the little zucchini comes out, or the little squash comes out, and then when the flower dies, the little fruit dies as well. That's because it hasn't been pollinated. Right? So to help that along, sometimes the flowers are covered over with leaves, or sometimes there's like a lot of male flowers and not many female flowers. But you can tell the difference between the male and the female. This is a male and this is a female. So what you got to do is you got to take off the petals because the bees don't need to find it, and you just break it off and you tap it in and you touch it like that. and that's basically how it gets pollinated, and they end up looking like this. You got like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 little butternut pumpkins, but that's enough from this little vine because I want to keep it in this little area. I'm going to have to go inside. I might go and look in my microscope. Okay. Okay, so I want to show you a few things under the microscope. First of all, we'll just put in a little, I've collected a bee's wing. I think that's pretty interesting. So if we just look at the bee's wing close up, you can see it there, look, it's got like little hooks on the corner of the wings. I love looking at close up stuff. This bee wing looks amazing. And then we can look at its eyes. This is really interesting. Wow, look at that, that's the bee's eye. It's not just one eye, it's got hundreds and hundreds of little eyes, and they've all got little hairs on them. Look at that. Wow. And that's a stinger. And if we look at some water, and then we can just put a couple of drops of water on this. This is water from the water trough where the bees drink. 1 drop of water. And then we put a little slide on top. Like that. And then we put it in here. Okay. And then if we look at this, you can see how much there is in just 1 little drop of water. You can see if I move the focus from the top of the water drop to the bottom of the water drop, so much life in there. So much life. And here we've got a little sample of my worm castings. A little sample from the worm farm, and you can see all the little mites. Lots of mites in there. They're really, really small. You can almost just see them with your bare eyes. But they're not a problem for the worms. They don't hurt the worms. They're just basically competing with the food, but because there's so much food, it doesn't really matter. This is the pollen from the corn. And this is the corn, the little corn hair on the ear. You can see how the pollen sticks to the hair. That's how it gets pollinated. So interesting looking through the microscope. Time to harvest Madagascar beans. I don't harvest them when they're green. I harvest them when they've turned brown, and then the little beans inside are nice and hard. And then I'll put them in a bottle, and then I soak them in water for 24 hours before I cook them. And they're very high in protein. A plant like this can give me about 40 kilos of Madagascar beans. A couple more here. So you want to wait for them to get a bit brown, because inside the brown pod is beautiful. There's probably usually about 3 Madagascar beans. So I'll just take those up to the kitchen and put it in a bottle. So every time we get a pineapple from the shop, we chop the top off and put it in a glass of water. And you can see, I've got these little bugs on me. See? See how it's getting roots? So it's just been sitting in the glass of water. And now it's ready to go in the ground. So I'll just put it like, just on top of the ground there, like that. And I'll put a bit of yummy compost soil, which I made up there. Not from today, it's an earlier batch. And then some new mulch. Should be happy there, little buddy. one little pineapple. Happy in this Wales. Okay. And moving right along, I might go and bag these bananas. The bats have been looking at them. So I'm going to bag the bananas now, because if I leave them open, when they start to ripen, the bats come and the parrots come. So I've just got this feed bag, like a chicken food bag that I've turned inside out, and then I put these little holes or little splits around the top, and then I'm just threading my string through, so like that. And then we climb up the ladder. First of all, I just want to chop off the end flower. Alrighty, let me just put this over. That's it. Okay, we might get a bit of nice weather. Seems like that storm's not coming over here. These elderflowers are coming on real nicely. I'm going to make some elderflower cordial. It's a recipe I got from Denmark. I just leave these here like that, nice and, but it's pretty easy. All we got to do is mix some water. I think what I'll do is I'll put the recipe on, I'll give the recipe on my newsletter actually, on my newsletter. So if you go into my webpage, which is theweedygarden.com, and join the newsletter, which is free of course, and I'll put the recipe for this beautiful yummy tasting cordial up. I'll put that on the next newsletter. Oh, these ones look nice around here. I'll leave some for the bees. And lunch for today. Okay. Action. So, after all that trimming, I feel like doing a little bit of trimming of my own, so I'm going to try and trim my beard. It's getting a bit weedy. It's not easy with these scissors. That's better. Oh, that's nice. I'm going to go for a swim. So that'll have to do the swim. We have to get back to work now. Okay, that was a nice little swim. So I'm going to fill my honey jars up again from my flowhive. So I just put my suit on first because I don't want to get bitten by the bees. Although I've been bitten once, it doesn't hurt too much. Okay, claustrophobia attack. Okay, here we go. And then this is my J tool. All right, let's hope they don't bite me on my feet. I don't want to get bitten on the foot. I'm going to take my gloves off because it's still way too hot. Stick that in here. So you can look in that side. See how they're working in there? See how I've got this net on here? This net stops the wood from falling over the back there when I chop it, see? It falls out the front, but that's okay because I can just pick it up from the front. Sometimes it just keeps it in there. My mother taught me this. It keeps the wood from falling off the back. It's really easy, just a bit of mesh, and I've just nailed it in, or you can screw it in around the back. Just making some wood for my fire, for my bath. Not too bad. I'm going to have some pecans. Okay, time for dinner. Time for dinner. Oh, I might just stoke up that bath water so it's nice and warm. Ah, this is really delicious. Wow. Oh man, this is great. This is one of the best meals I've had so far. Good night, Chookies. Hey, Cookie, you want to move your bum in? Good night, girls. Good night, girls. Okay, before I go to bed, I'm going to set this camera up to photograph the stars while I'm sleeping. If we look in here, we can have a look at the picture. I just press this and see, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I've got my wide angle lens on, which in this case is the 14-24 zoom I've got on here. I've set it on infinity. I've got it on 14mm zoom. I've got it wide angle, and I've got it on 2.8, and I'm shooting at 8 seconds at 3200 ASA. I do an 8-second exposure every 20 seconds. So I'm going to just let that run now and go to bed. Being in this garden and hearing the birds outside, with my feet on the ground, feeling the earth underneath my toes, I'm beginning to live in a flow of what I call the feel-good factor. Kind of feel like my energy's vibrating at a frequency that is finally lined up with what the universe has been attempting to deliver to me my entire life. I'm finding some on the outside, but most of it comes from the inside. You could call it a bit inside out, but I feel it to be true for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Beautiful, healthy, happy plants. Have a nice day and I'll catch you later. Beautiful stars. Okay. So good night. That was a good day. That was a really good day.